Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 85, verse 46. Sadyasman ishitavyesha nishpapan kurana prabha bhumanya shahyatistans jadanaya vimochite. Translation: O Lord of all subordinate creatures, please tell us what to do and thus free us of all sin. One who faithfully executes your command, O Master, is no longer obliged to follow the ordinary Vedic rites. Purport. The acharyas explain Bali's thoughts as follows, reflecting on the possibility that his request for immediate deliverance may have been too bold. Bali Maharaj considers that first he will need to become sufficiently purified. In any case, he thinks Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram must have come to him for some specific purpose. If he can receive the Lord's order and carry it out, that will be his best opportunity for purification indeed. As Bali states, the devotee, acting under the personality of God's instruction, need no longer follow the sacrificial injunctions and prohibitions of the Vedas. Mukam karati vachalam bhangam langyate girim yakipantamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinatavinam Om Gyana Timarandasya Gyananjara Shalakaya Chakshuvamilitam Yena Tasamai Shri Gurave Namaha. So when I was reading this verse, I was reminded of a pastime with Lord Chaitanya. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he was not yet a devotee. Well, yes, I think he was a devotee by that time. But all the devotees from Bengal were coming down to Jagannath Puri to participate in the Rath Yatra festival. And when they came down, they didn't go to the Jagannath temple. They didn't fast. They just went to see Lord Chaitanya and they ate prasadam. This is when you go to a pilgrimage site, according to the Vedic injunctions, you're supposed to fast and you're supposed to shave up and you're supposed to go to the temple first thing. Instead of going to the temple, they were going to see Lord Chaitanya. And so Sarvabhauma he was saying, how are they doing this? How come they're not following the regulations? And the answer was, well, when the Lord is there in person, then you don't have to. First you go see him, Lord Chaitanya. He would, of course, Jagannath in person too, but Lord Chaitanya was actually there. And after Sarvabhauma actually became a devotee, he also neglected the Vedic injunctions. You're supposed to get up and brush your teeth and say your mantras, and then you can eat. You can't eat before that. But one time, Lord Chaitanya came early in the morning, and he was just getting out of bed, and Lord Chaitanya brought him some prasad, and he just ate it before even thinking, no, prasad has to be honored first thing. So when you do become a devotee, then the first thing is to follow Krishna's order, follow the Guru's order, which is what is stressed in this purport. It's more important than following the injunctions of the Vedas. So yes, this and the previous. So I'll tell the context for those who are new. That this is Devaki has asked Krishna to go bring back her sons, not yes, that were taken away were killed by Kamsa. So Krishna and Balaram went down to Sutala Loka where her sons were, and they came to see Bala Maharaj, who is in charge of Sutala Loka, to ask for those 6 sons to take them back to Devaki. And Bali is, of course, a great devotee. He's one of the Mahajans, and so he's having beautiful prayers to Krishna and Balaram. And in the previous verses, 41 to 43, he was talking about how people became attracted to Krishna. Some in enmity, the Daityas, Danavas, Gandharvas, Siddhas, Pishachas, Rakshasas, Yakshas, Bhutas, Charnas, Pramatas. These are all heavy-duty demons. They got attracted somehow to Krishna. And then, of course, Bali puts himself in those categories because he's born in the Daitya family. But so he says, some of us have become attracted to you because of exceptional hatred, while others have become attracted because of their mood of devotion based on lust. But the demigods and others infatuated by material goodness feel no such attraction for them. The demigods have to follow all these rules and things. And that's most important for them. And those who are following the Vedas are trying to follow the Vedas in Kali Yuga. Nobody can follow. And that is the problem when people try to force you to follow, when nobody can follow, and even those who are trying to force you to follow can't follow either. So actually, what we are discussing today is what is so attractive about Krishna? How were we attracted? And also, what happens? We know we're attracted and we perform devotional service, and we can sometimes even fall away from devotional service. We fall down. So, but uh, actually, and that's where people criticize. They say, "See, you can't even do your duties. You can't follow Varnashram. You can't even do devotional service. So what's the use?" And so, no, even if you begin devotional service and even if you fall down, you are higher than those who are perfectly following Varnashram without Krishna consciousness. So, um, Krishna is very attractive. It's described in 10th Canto, 14th chapter, verse 7, that Krishna has a quality, a special quality for each and every one of us that attracts us to him. Isn't that interesting? So you can think, how are you attracted to Krishna? What is it that really attracts you? Of course, we can think how we were attracted in the beginning to become devotees, give up some things and become devotees. Yeah, I was attracted to the chanting. As soon as I heard the chanting, then I couldn't get it out of my mind because I was a musician and, you know, we were trained to hear. George, and so I was like trying to hear the emotions and the sounds of the previous, not the previous acharyas, the previous musicians, and I was playing their music. But here we have some Krishna. We have God's music, and so it was the perfect sound. I said, "Wow, I never heard a sound like this before." I was playing an orchestra, I was playing piano, so many things. I never heard it sound like that. So, yeah, that was very attractive to me. And also the books. Like I was a reading addict actually. And once I got Prabhupada's books, I just left all the other books. They were like nothing, like poison even. All my questions were answered. And then I saw the pictures. I was living in Boston Temple where all the artists were, and such a beautiful pictures of Narada Muni and Panchatattva and the Shingadev. I thought, wow, pictures to the spiritual world. And then the deities. I'm attracted to the deities because you could go up and pray to them, and your prayers are answered. And attracted to Srila Prabhupada devotees were so much in love with Prabhupada. And then I also uh, became in love with Prabhupada too. He was very much pushing me in my spiritual life. I could feel that. And his glance, his example, his love, everything was there. And that attracted me also. And there was one of my godbrothers in Germany, he was a boxer before he became a devotee. And devotees were saying, "Why don't you come live in the temple?" He said, "No, no, I can't give up my boxing." Uh, but one time Prabhupada came to visit that temple, and then when Prabhupada was leaving, the devotees were were like enthusiastic seeing him off in his car, and the boxer was pushed to the car, and his face was glued on the window. And Prabhupada glanced at him, and then he came away. He said, "Okay, I'm joining." And he said, "What happened? What about your boxing?" And he said, after a glance like that, how can I go back to my boxing?" So Prabhupada had that potency just by his glance. He could attract everyone. And also the deities' glance. If we get the glance of the deities, we can become imperceptibly liberated, according to Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada. So, because of all these attractions, we do have examples in our scriptures. Maharaj Bharat left everything, but then when he had everything, when you have everything, it's not easy to leave everything. Like our Ambarish Maharaj, he has everything. He doesn't, materially speaking, but he uses everything for Krishna, and he was very dear to Prabhupada for that, for his renunciation. So people think you renounce when you have nothing, but actually he had everything. It's very difficult for qualified people to give up everything. And just like Kunti says in her prayers, Jamai Shraya Shuta Shibir Edamana Madapuman, that, these things, good birth, wealth, and high education, and beauty, these things can be obstacles to devotional service if you don't use them for Krishna. You can't, if you're very proud of these things, then you cannot chant feelingly the holy name of Krishna. So, but some devotees have given up these things, and they're very happy. Just like a child, he's very satisfied with his toy car and everything, except my 2.5-year-old. He says, "I want to drive your car, Daddy." But when they grow up and then they get their own car, and they give up the toys. And so when we have grown up, we have accepted Krishna consciousness. We give up the dull material things because we have a higher taste. We have Krishna. There was one. So these material things, they cannot give you taste. You can't enjoy forever. Just like there was one man in Ireland, book distributor came to him and said, there's no happiness in this material world. And the man said, you know, the happiest day of my life was when I bought my boat. He said, but then again, the happiest day of my life was when I sold my boat. So, yeah, anyway, so because it was so hard to maintain, so that's a problem. These things, you really have to maintain things because the natural thing that happens to everything in this world is that it deteriorates, it gets destroyed. And so, yes, as the devotees, we got the higher taste, but sometimes we lose the taste. We lose that taste and we go away. And so Prabhupada, he tells us, actually what we should aspire for in the prayers of Shukadeva Goswami. In the purport, Prabhupada says, a pure devotee thinks himself fallen into the ocean of birth and death and incessantly prays to the Lord to lift him up. He only aspires to become a speck of transcendental dust at the lotus feet of the Lord. So when we chant, Prabhupada said, we should think, please accept me, please accept me. And so, yes. Why do we fall away? Well, of course, when we're chanting, one of the biggest offenses is inattention to the holy name, distraction, laziness, and indifference. Distraction, we have our cell phones, the weapons of distraction, His Holiness Sachidananda Swami calls them. And then there's laziness. Oh, yeah, okay, well, yeah. I know I should try to chant all my rounds in the morning, but, I really feel like sleeping today. Laziness, indifference. Maybe you're not sleepy, you're not hungry. Still, you don't want to chant. So, yeah, these are obstacles. And also, why do we fall down? His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami has given us 4 reasons. Aparad, offenses, we commit offenses. 2 devotees Pride, due to pride, we may fall down. Due to lack of association, just like Maharaj Bharat, he had his association was a deer, and lack of knowledge of the path. Yes, yes, lack of knowledge. So sometimes, we think we're pure devotees in the beginning, but then we come to midlife crisis, and uh, there are different levels of unsteady devotional service, and one of them is indecision. Should I leave everything, go to Vrindavan? Should I leave this temple, go to another temple? Should I get married? Should I leave my family? All these things can come up. So we think, we are fixed devotees, but then the Anartha Nivriti comes up, the level when we struggle. And we may think we're not going to go through it, but everyone goes through it, including you, and including me. So, yes, we have to be prepared to go through all the levels of devotional service, even the unsteady levels. So, aparad offense, this is the worst thing that can keep us away from Krishna. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he cursed the offenders. He took all the sins of Jagayamada, and he said, one who offends devotees will get the sins of Jagayamada to them. So watch out, don't offend devotees. And he actually went to the house of a drunkard, sannyasi, not, not a real sannyasi, but called himself sannyasi. But he wouldn't even go to see these offenders, take a bath in the Ganga River. And so we have to be very careful of these things. So there is a nice verse in, let's see, Bhagavatam. Let's see if I can find it. Hold on for 1 minute. I'll look it up in my database. I would like to share this verse with you. It's about how devotees can sometimes fall down. I'm looking for it. Oh, here we go. Okay. Oh, go back. Oh, where are we? No. Here we go. Okay, I got the verse finally. This is 1517. Chakta satarmam charanam vijamare bhajana pakvata patitato yadi yatakva badram abutamushikim kovarta apta bhajatan sadarnataha. One who has forsaken his material occupations to engage in devotional service of the Lord may sometimes fall down while in an immature stage. Yet there is no danger of his being unsuccessful. Isn't that wonderful? So don't give up. Even on the other hand, a non-devotee, though fully engaged in occupational duties, does not gain anything. So that means someone who is perfectly engaged in varnashram, occupational duties, dharma, occupational duties means varnashram. So Prabhupada talks about that. And so many of us gave up our occupational duties to become devotees. But Prabhupada says sometimes it happens one surrenders himself to the service of the Lord by some temporary sentiment, and in the long run, due to so many other reasons, he falls down from the path of service by undesirable association. And he gives the example of Maharaj Bharat, who became a deer. Chitraketu offended Shiva, became a demon. But Prabhupada said, once engaged in devotional service, one will continue the service in all circumstances. And Gita says, even a small quantity of devotional service can save one from the most dangerous position. So, Prabhupada lectured on this verse. He says, sometimes devotees join and just by sentiment, they don't really understand what it means to be a devotee deeply. But Prabhupada said he will derive the greatest benefit. Everyone has their occupation, and if you give it up, because Krishna says, give up everything and surrender to me. He does say that. And Narada says the same thing here, that whatever Krishna says, his devotee will say the same thing. So Krishna is giving his command, give up, surrender to me. And so that's what Bali Maharaj is. He is saying, yes, yes, I just must surrender to Krishna and Balaram. I'm going to surrender whatever he wants. I will do. So in New Vrindavan, in a lecture in 69, Prabhupada was saying, now in this country, so boys and girls are taking to Krishna consciousness, and before they were meat eaters and drinkers, an abominable condition. But even if they were fallen in this abominable condition somehow or other, because in their last life they had some advancement of Krishna consciousness, and immediately they're taking it up, and that's a fact. There is a verse in the 10th canto, 20th chapter, rainy season, that uh, when there's a big thunder in the sky, then the frogs start croaking. And the meaning of that is when a great acharya, a spiritual leader, calls, then everybody wakes up and they start doing their spiritual duty. So Prabhupada called us and we left. Everything immediately. Practically, it took me 3 months, which is pretty fast. Some people, it took one day. It's just like Indra Prabhu. There was a Harinam party, and as soon as he saw the Harinam party, he immediately he ran, and he even left his one shoe behind. He ran to join the Sankirtan. And the devotee said, well, you can go back and get your shoe. And he said, I'm not going back. And that was it. And so Prabhupada called us, and we ran, just like Krishna playing his flute to the gopis. He played his flute, the gopis ran. So Prabhupada called us, and we ran to him. We all ran. And so one of my godbrothers was talking to Srila Prabhupada, his name is Bajahari. He said after working a night shift in a steel factory, I almost had a nervous breakdown from the strain. And Prabhupada said, actually, that's because in your last life, you were all brahmanas. Otherwise, how could you come to the platform of Krishna consciousness so quickly? Actually, my Guru Maharaj has ordered all of you to take birth to help me spread this mission. Now we are all together again. So, yes, you cannot forget. You cannot forget once you have this association, he said. You may fall down by Maya's influence for a time being, but you cannot give it up. Just like hot sugarcane juice. It's very nice, but it's hot. And you're feeling a little uncomfortable to take it, but because it's so sweet, you cannot stop drinking. So Krishna consciousness is so nice that it's hard to give it up, but you might get attracted by Maya, but you can't give up Krishna consciousness at the same time. You cannot forget Krishna. And so, yes, you cannot give it up. You have to come back. And Prabhupada says in his lecture, once you say, Krishna, I'm yours, Krishna will never leave you. He'll protect you. Even we forget, Krishna will not forget us. So there was, again, another example from Ireland in the very early days. In our temples, there was, he joined and I know he was complaining, oh my God, I have to get up so early, 3:30 in the morning. Yes, oh, go to Mangal Archie, 4 o'clock, I have to go and get up. And he was also complaining because in the early days, there was no toilet paper in any of our temples. We were using the Indian way of using water instead of toilet paper. And there's no toilet paper here either. So he left. And so then he got a job. He was on the night shift. It was 1 in the morning, 1:30. He said, actually, this is worse than going to Mangalarti. And then he punctured one of the boxes where he was working. It was above him. He was trying to bring it down, and huge box and hundreds of rolls of toilet paper. Hundreds of rolls of toilet paper fell on him. So Krishna said, see, as much as you like, you can have. But so he said he went back to the temple. He said, okay, never mind. I don't need toilet paper. Nowadays, there is toilet paper in all the temples except India. But maybe India, I don't know. I don't. They might have now. I haven't checked. But yeah, so Krishna brings you back. You can't forget. And so because there is a seed, once there's a seed planted in our heart, the Bhakti Lata beach, and it's growing. And it's growing, and even if you fall down, you can't really um, take that seed out. Um, but don't commit offenses. That's the problem. So there is also a tree of bhakti in this universe. And Lord Chaitanya is the trunk, it's described Chaitanya Charitamrita. And so not considering who asked for it, who didn't, who was fit, who was unfit to receive it, Lord Chaitanya gave us the fruit of devotional service. And Prabhupada. So before that, actually, Krishna came, but it was the treasure house was sealed. Lord Chaitanya broke open the treasure house of devotional service and prema, and he ate it and he distributed it. And he gave an order to us. So this is about taking the order of the Lord. He said, I'm the only gardener. How many places can I go? How many fruits can I pick and distribute? Therefore, I order everyone in this universe to accept this Krishna conscious movement and distribute it everywhere. So, yes, yes. And this is Lord Chaitanya's mercy. He came here and he was chasing the conditioned souls, actually, chasing us. And so is Srila Prabhupada chasing us. And so his orders in Adi Lila, Chaitanya Charitamrita 939, distribute this Krishna conscious movement all over the world. Let people eat these fruits and become free from old age and death. So yes, we should take this opportunity. We got the fruit and we are eating it, and we should also distribute it. Also, another point is that although Lord Chaitanya came and opened the treasure house, it was still locked in India. So then Prabhupada came and he unlocked the treasure house that was locked in India, and he gave it to the whole world. There was a morning walk in Vrindavan, and one devotee said to Prabhupada, it seems like Lord Chaitanya um, distributed devotional service, Krishna conscious in India, but he left it for you to distribute all over the world. And Srila Prabhupada said, yes, and for you. So we have that order. Just like Bali Maharaj is about to get the order of Krishna Balaram, we got the order of Lord Chaitanya. We have the order of Krishna to surrender, of Lord Chaitanya to, after you surrender, distribute all the mercy to everyone. Okay, so I'll stop here. If there's any questions or comments, you can ask at this time.
Thank you, Narayani, Devi Dasi. Wonderful class. The question is Krishna or toilet paper? That's the question.
Yeah, to have toilet paper or not to have, that is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, in the early days, there was a lot of austerity, so much austerity. And one of them was no toilet paper. If you were
Yeah.
brought up with it,
Adipusha, how was your experience back then? Were you taken aback by the toilet paper factor? Adipusha Prabhu. We're gonna go down the memory lane here.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, there were details in those days. I remember I first I hitchhiked to New Vrindavan, 1974, and moved in there. And I had a spoon.
Uh-oh.
I sat down to take prasadam, I took out the spoon. And everybody said, oh, he's got a spoon, his spoon, because everybody was eating with their fingers. Sometimes we've, had some idea of like what the important things are in Krishna consciousness. But there's always austerity. Just like in this pastime, he's asking, I'm in the household life. I'm in this well. I'm attached. I'm bewildered. Get get me free from this bound up material condition. And sometimes we would think that, I've heard people say, well, Prabhupada came and there were hippies, and then so they were falsely renounced, but they had rejected the mainstream values of get a job,
Yeah.
get a little house in the suburbs with white picket fence and 2 kids and a station wagon, and all these material comforts. And they were thinking, well, something else. There's not that, and that's not something. Here's a rendition of something that happened thousands of years ago, and even today, sometimes they think there are no people precipitating out of the liquid of society and looking for something other than the mainstream values. But there always have been, and there always will be. And Queen Quinty says, a kitchen a gocharam. There are people who are materially exhausted. They're just not buying the fact that if you have this box and that box and that box checked, then you will become satisfied and happy. So people are longing for real satisfaction, and Krishna is always working in everyone's life, no matter what their ashram is, no matter what their status and socioeconomic status. Krishna is calling each of one of us, come back to devotional service. And right here in these verses, he says, Lord, maybe they want me to do something. What do they want me to do? I'll do that, because it has to be something else that we're striving for other than just material comfort and safety. Anyway, I've been turning these ideas on Krishna's giving me a lot of things to say. I don't want to take up too much time, but we prayed to Prabhupada to give us something to share today. We hope that's a good contribution to Mataji's wonderful class. Your enthusiasm is unmatched. You speak so quickly, I can hardly take it in as quickly as you can speak. But thank you very much. Oh, glory to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Bye. Hare Krishna. Olga? Olga has a question? Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Mother Narayani, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you very much for the beautiful lecture. It was very inspiring. So I wanted to ask about this balance between surrender to Krishna and do your duty, because we read a lot in Bhagavad Gita that yes, you should do your duty, do not leave your duty, and so on. But still, there is this what you were talking about today, this surrendering to Krishna moment, that you can actually leave some things and then surrender to Krishna. So how does one find a balance between these things?
Yeah. Well, there is a verse in the Puranas, which Prabhupada quotes, that you should always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. And all the rules and regulations are subservient to that. So whatever you're doing in your day, you may be doing your duties in material world, but you should say, okay, Krishna, before I do this, let me offer this to you as a service. Like, suppose you have a job, you can do your job and give some donation to the temple. It doesn't have to be a big one, a little one, but then you're working for Krishna. You're working for Krishna. So the balance is in your consciousness. What are you thinking when you're going about? There, I have my godbrother who now left his body, Karnamrita, and he used to, when he would wake up in the morning, first thing, okay, I offer this day to you, Krishna. And then he would go to the bathroom, brush his teeth. Okay, I offer my brushing teeth to you because it's your body and I'm taking care of it for your service. Okay, shower. Okay, I'm offering shower to you because it's your body. I'm maintaining it. So before he would do anything, okay, I'm going shopping today. I'm going shopping for you because I'm going to cook for you and offer it to you. And so you try to integrate Krishna in everything you do in the day. Try to bring Krishna into it. And like I know sometimes we don't get a parking place, and Krishna, I need to get this parking. Can you help me? Yeah, you can remember Krishna when you get into difficulty in the day. Also, help. You can pray for help. Just the main thing is to try to bring Krishna into your everyday life during the day, not just in your japa, in your worship, but in the day. And of course, Gita talks about balance also, what it means to be in the mode of goodness, what it means to be a yogi, that you have to balance eating, sleeping, working, and recreation. So that balance has to be there. So not too much, not too little eating, not too much, not too much, too little sleeping, and not too much or little working. You need to be active. And recreation has to be there too. So like when I go to Australia, I go beaching and preaching because I need, actually, I need to keep up my health. And so, the salt water is very good for me. And so that has to be part of my program, that recreation and swimming helps me to keep traveling at the age of 77. I can keep traveling all over most of the time of the 8 months traveling. So I need to maintain my health. So somehow or other, I have to do that. So that kind of recreation helps. I can't really jump anymore at kirtan because my feet are not good. Okay, Hari Charna Das has a question. Yes?
Haritran Prabhu, please unmute yourself.
Oh, sorry. I'm speaking in unmuted. Thank you so much, Narayani Devi Mataji. I'm really grateful. Actually, I see like the quality that you mentioned, like Tektva Sharanambuje, Tektva Sodharma Sharanambuje Hari, right? I see all the qualities in the like Prabhupada disciples. Like you actually left your Swadharma,
Completely.
like Prabhuji, yeah, like Adipurusha's Prabhu said, like you left your home and everything, like you took
Yeah.
the shelter of Hari, right, Lord Hari, like shelter of like even Prabhupada, right? Yeah, I'm getting like overwhelmed with that feelings actually, like how much sacrifice he went through, like leaving everything, and just took the shelter of Prabhupada and propagated this message like throughout the world, right? Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm very grateful. Like I think everybody is grateful for like yeah for all the contributions that all the Prabhupada disciples did. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And we should not criticize those who fell down
Yeah,
because the verse says, apakva, you may
yeah.
not be ripe. The mango may not be ripe yet. And so it takes time to ripen, you know?
Yeah,
Uh,
actually, when you said like you get the qualities of Jaga and Madai, I really got scared so much actually.
yes, yes.
Like I thought like initially like people may fall down, but like getting the qualities of Jaga and Madai, like it's like
You'll get the
unsurmountable
sins.
sins. Yeah,
You'll
that's
get their
correct.
sins.
Yeah. So thank you so yeah. Yeah, it's like a mad elephant. Even though it's a mad elephant offense, like it's like more than that looks like actually.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
Kalyani Didi.
Kalyani.
I was just thinking back when you were saying how the toilet paper could be an austerity. We had already met the devotees and we decided to visit their island for the first time in 1994. And we phoned them from a local shop and they said, "Oh, sure, we'll come down now and we'll bring the limo to pick you up." And they pulled up outside in this little Citroen car and there was no windows in the car. and it was just a complete banger of a car. So they told us you have to keep your rucksacks on your back because any luggage will go flying out the back. And then they stopped to get some petrol and they'd no money. And Radanoff was driving, and as he got out, he ripped his pants. And he said, I've no money for petrol and now I've no pants. And we had to pay for the petrol. So then we got to the island and they wanted us to get into the boat. So we got into the boat knee high in water and they handed us a bucket. And they said, you bucket it all out all the way over, okay? So we were sitting there with the bucket, bucketing out all this water all the way over to the island, you know. And then we got to the island with no toilet paper. It was an adventure. But the devotees were so blissed out. They were so blissed out that you knew that they were either completely crazy or they were experiencing a higher taste. They were experiencing something, you know. So,
Thank you. But look how deep those some scars are, how deep those memories, and how happy you are just recalling those days. Yeah.
yeah.
Beamer, will you have toilet paper at your farm?
Unmute. He's asking if you have toilet paper at the island now.
Oh, yeah, we do now. And we have a
Good,
barge.
good. Just justice is served. Now we
Yeah.
can focus on serving Krishna. Could you, Narayani Devi, could you elaborate a little more on self-care, that recreation
Self-care.
aspect? Is that sinful to recreate, and how not to recreate too much or too little? What's the criteria?
Actually, the best person to ask this question is Mahatma. Oh, actually, no, they were doing a thing on self. Yeah, he does a whole seminar on self-care. So it would be good if you look that up. Of course, the main thing is you have to balance your your material and your spiritual self-care. So you have to see when you need to upgrade your spiritual. And of course, when you get my age, the material it doesn't wait for you to do it. It forces you to take care. Your body goes on strike, or it will just not, it will stop functioning if you don't take care of it. So what I say is prevention is better than cure. So I do Iyengar yoga, which is medical yoga, which takes care of all the physical things in my body and keeps me at this age of 77 able to travel 8 months of the year. And spiritually, of course, I have my sadhana. And I try to morning program, spiritual self-care morning program, and evening program too, if you can. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Narayani Devi. The best person to ask about recreation for Krishna is Mahatma Das and Narayani Devi, the two devotees now. Thank you. Okay, darshan time. Turn on your cameras.
Hare Krishna.
Sundarnath Prabhu will facilitate the darshan. We saw Hari Charan driving Sundarnath and devotees yesterday.
Ganga Jamuna. Ganga Jamuna.
Jai Shri Shri Radha Murlidhar Shri Gaurachandra Ki Jai. We thank Narayan Devi for the wonderful class.
Jaya Prabhupada.
Temple room, we are muting you. We're going.
Prabhupada.
We're going.
Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada.
We're going to have the afterglow. Okay. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the afterglow. We do this after class. If anyone has a question or a comment, go ahead. Haricharan Prabhu, where did you drive Sundarnath yesterday? Was that recreational or for
Yes,
preaching?
yes, Prabhu, there was actually the housewarming ceremony. One of the devotees' housewarming ceremony.
Housewarming. Okay.
So yeah, actually, Gaurshan Prabhu also came there. He did Narsimha Yagna, and then after that, I drove him back to temple. I had
Nice.
fortune to
How sweet. Yeah,
associate.
this is our Vaishnava culture. We don't just buy houses and live in them. We offer them to Krishna. We sanctify them by the yajna.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
And we serve the devotees. This is paraphernalia for our service to the Vaishnavas. Thank you, Haricharan. Okay, Bhima Prabhu, your hand is up. Was that from before? Bhima Prabhu, Hare Krishna. What's your take on
Evolve
recreation? Yeah.
every day, all day long. all day long. If you're not recreating yourself, then you're not advancing. You have to have fun. He said chant and be happy. That's like 50% of what he told us to do, is to be happy. And how can you be happy if you don't recreate yourself?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just stagnant. You're in a mire. You're in the mire, wallowing in what seems to be not changing. If this is a journey, then we must get a step in. And of course, as you sow, or as one approaches me, I reward them accordingly. So why not pick up the pace to a nice stride, get some recreation in while we get on our way to Krishna, and always remember that if there's anything that's the temple of Krishna, it's our body. And if anything is the sanctum sanctorium, that would be the altar of Krishna. It's our heart. And anything that would be more dear to Krishna than the heart of the other devotees in which Krishna resides with Radharani, right and left, it would be our treatment of the hearts of the other devotees. And that we should care more about how we treat others than how we treat ourselves. And in doing so, reflect back upon ourselves all the grace that Krishna has to offer us. I actually got online to speak about Jagai and Madai. If I were going to speak about Jagai and Madai, I would know what I'd be talking about. What right now I'm just repeating, as Adi says, the words of my spiritual master, Hari Krishna.
Thank you, Bhima Prabhu. Yeah, you're very profound today. Very profound, very grave. Okay, Adipusha Prabhu, what's your take on let's get the other side of the spectrum. What's your take on recreation? Do you sleep for Krishna? You nap for Krishna?
Well, the Mayavadis say
It's a little choppy, Adipusha
they don't
Prabhu.
have singing and dancing.
Okay.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can, yeah,
Can
maybe
you hear
it's
me?
gone. Yeah, I think I can, yeah.
The Mayavadi idea of renunciation is no opulent food, no singing, no dancing, no laughter. But the spiritual world is very rich and variegated, and Prabhupada gave us all those things. We don't give them up. We engage them in Krishna's devotional service. That's real renunciation.
Thank you. Yukta Vairagya.
I'd like to tell of a short little pastime that is a grand example of the value of recreation. Can you hear it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So it was a devotee gathering on the Boston Common for the Boston Temple, and it was a picnic and kirtan, in the Boston Common, which is a large park with swan boats and everything. So it was a beautiful day, and somebody brought a frisbee and a Nerf football. And so everybody, and I'm talking pujaris, everybody, Matajis, everybody joined in playing. First of all, what's it called? It's like football with a frisbee, and it was just so fun. Like all the devotees, like the devotees that you normally don't share, everybody was having fun, like children in a field. And afterwards, we all became a little bit more endeared to each other because of that spending spontaneous time, seeing each other laugh spontaneously, not being in a formal situation. So, as in Sankirtan, meaning that we should dance together, we should also recreate together. They do it in they go on retreats in the yoga retreats and stuff like that. But I don't think that there's anything wrong with devotees gathering, families gathering together, and allowing the children to. Of course, there's not anything wrong. But what it does is that it endears us to each other. We break down barriers because we're acting spontaneously and not rehearsed. We're not in a ritualistic setting. We're in a spontaneous setting. And in that spontaneity, we reveal our true character and our true happiness and our true joy about being around each other. So we should never hesitate on having a good time in Krishna consciousness. We have to stop criticizing ourselves as well as, and when we stop criticizing and judging ourselves and understand that Krishna is the doer and Krishna will, give me what's necessary for me to purify myself. But part of that purification is the practice of love. And if there's that practice, then we are making advancement. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Bhima Prabhu. We'll take one more reflection. Who'd like to shine for Krishna?
Actually, when I went back to the temple, right, I actually got pizza and then Mahaprasad from Vasudeva Prabhu, right? It's like, yeah, it's like even though like you think you are doing something, actually you're getting so much actually. So so much recreation.
Exactly.
Yeah. Whatever we do is like very insignificant, but whatever lords are giving, our devotees are giving, it's like yeah, it's unlimited actually. Yeah, we can't
Yeah.
hold it. We can't hold on to our hands or
Yeah.
anything. Yeah,
Yep. Yeah, Krishna says, I reciprocate accordingly, but in fact, he
yeah,
reciprocates much more
much more. Yeah,
than
it's
accordingly.
yeah, it's overflows. I think it's our duty to spread, to give it back to
Yes.
others. Yeah.
Yes. Haricharan Prabhu is here to give. He's
No,
here to
no,
serve.
no, no, all the devotees, wonderful devotees.
Jai.
So it's so important. The senses must be engaged in something. We have to look at something, taste something, smell something, touch something. We went to one yoga community. We were traveling and we saw this sign for Yogaville. So we stopped there and we went in, and there were really nice sattvic people there, and they welcomed us, and they brought us in their temple room, and there was an altar in the middle of the temple room, and you know what was on the altar?
I know that story, but others may not. Let's see if they can guess. Hold
Cool.
on, don't say it. Who can guess what was on the altar? There was light pointed at it. It was a nice setup for what? What was it? Please.
There was nothing on the altar. Absolutely nothing, just a light shining down on a table, right? So then we opened up the Bhagavatam, and there was a picture of Vamanadev. Beautiful, one of those paintings, And these yogis and yoginis were gathered around like a football huddle. Oh, look at that. Look at the colors. Look at the beauty. Look at the shape. Your eyes have to look at something. Krishna has form and color and beauty. So then one of them came to visit us in a little preaching center we were taking care of. And he was apparently a wealthy man. He had this very expensive Brook Brothers suit, one of those like $500 suits with three-piece suit. And we gave them prasadam. Now, at the yoga place, they just had like raw carrots and lettuce and, simple things. But when he came to the preaching center, we gave him khichdi, and it was buttery and spicy and rich with vegetables. And he was amazed at the prasadam. And then he didn't know I saw him, but out of the corner of my eye, I saw he was reaching into the khichdi pot with his bare hand and scooping khichdi into his $500 Brooks Brothers suit pocket. No way. He was so, attracted to the prasadam that he was like stealing some of it and putting it in his expensive suit pocket, just raw with his hand. So, I mean, uh, our enunciation becomes very dry, but we engage the senses in prasadam in different forms, things that have been offered to Krishna. We glorify Krishna with song and dance and laughter, and it's very, very attractive and palatable. It's not just giving up something.
Yeah, this guy's eagerness to get Krishna's mercy, that's the eagerness we should have for Krishna and for service and for association. That's the eagerness. Forget your suit. Just stuff yourself up with mercy and do service. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, dear devotees. We're going to ask Gregory. Gregory, are you around? Maybe Theo is around or Lily. Last call for Gregory. Okay. So we are going to ask, let me see, who's the most introverted? Okay, Annette, please unmute yourself and say Hare Krishna. This will finish today's yagya. Annette Murphy. Annette says, laughter is medicine. Yes. Annette, we want to hear Hare Krishna from you. Can't do. Okay, can you type Hare Krishna, Annette? Can you type? There's no disqualification. It's an unusual day today. We're gonna read. Go ahead, Annette. Type Hare Krishna, and we'll finish today's yagya. There she is. Thank you very much. We love you. We need you. Come again tomorrow. Shrimad Bhagavatam never ends. There's plenty of service for everyone to do. Plenty of austerities that we can engage in for Krishna. So it's all exciting. It's fun.